Hello everyone, welcome back. So today the next topic of basic setting is field status variant, right? What is field status variant? It controls the field at the time of transaction posting, right? Now let me explain you what happens generally. We always, whenever we post a transaction is always posted against a GL. Just few things or few terms will be new to you all. Just listen to me, and once we start doing it practically, you will have a clarity what I was talking about or what I am talking about, right? So just keep this in mind that whenever we post a transaction in SAP, right? This is my SAP I have logging into. We post a transaction. Say, for example, there is a transaction code when we post any transaction from GL to GL account. I will explain you about the GL in later classes, but just focus on what I am telling you right now that always a transaction is posted against a GL. So there is a code, transaction code FP50, right? I have to log in again, I guess. Just hold on. So transaction is always posted against a GL through various transaction code. One of is the transaction code is FP50. We have to write our company code. ZE89 is our company code. And see, I am creating ZE89. You create your own company code. I am explaining you about Z Entertainment. That doesn't mean that you, while practicing, will create with the same code. First of all, the system will not accept it. Secondly, create your own company. Take Z Entertainment as an example if you want to take, but create a different company code. Moreover, even if you will try using ZE89, the system will not accept it. It will throw an error because it is already being created by me. So yeah, was what I was talking about, that this is the page. Okay, this is the page where you will post your transaction. Okay. Now these are the various field, right? We have to fill it, right? So these are the various field, and we have to start the transaction with GL account. What does it mean? Say there are various nature of transactions. Okay, there are various nature of transactions. Nature of transactions. Okay. Say, for example, I will take the example of rent, electricity bill, any expenses I'm taking as of now. Insurance, let's take only three of the items. Okay. Now, these are the nature of transaction. Now, as I told you that in SAP, what happens? You have to write GL. You have to start with the GL, right? The GL, in the GL, it doesn't, we will not write rent or electricity bill or insurance or audit fee. We have to address this nature of transactions with a number. Generally, in real time, it used to be 8 to 10 digits of number, but while practicing, I will prefer using small numbers so that it is easy to remember. So, say there are different numbers. I will take 4-digit number. How to create it again, we will get to learn in later classes. So, say rent, I will address with 4,000. Electricity bill as 4001. I am taking randomly any number. Okay, you can create any number, but I am taking as 4,000, 4001, 4002. Fine. Now, what happened? We have to write this 4,000 rent, and then we will write the amount debit credit. That is, we have to post the transaction. We have to write it down. We have to post it, right? Now, what happened? Say there is a demand of our client that they want that while posting the transaction against rent GL, which is 4,000, The text field, what they have demanded, the text field to be, ठीक है, uh, the text field to be what I'm taking required, suppressed, optional. Why? What does it mean? It means that, ठीक है, now what happened? See, once you see the desk, in field status variant, there are only three buttons: suppressed, required, optional. Three radio buttons. It is not a check mark. In check mark, you have an option, to select more than one. But in radio button, you have to either select suppressed, required, optional. Generally, standard is optional. We generally prefer to keep it as optional. But again, as I told you, that it all depends on the client's requirement. Now, say while posting the transaction against a rent GL, client wants that the text GL to be required. What does it mean? It means that whenever we post a transaction against rent GL, which is 4,000, we can't save the transaction until we write something in the text field. It is required because we have commanded that the text field has to be required. Where we have commanded it, we have instructed it in our setting. Where is that setting? It will be the setting once we start creating and configuring the field status. There is an option of suppressed, required, and optional, where there is an option of text, and there we have to select what required. So if we select the required, then while posting this transaction of rent GL, what happened? There will be a instruction to the SAP that whenever there is a posting against 4,000 GL, the text field has to be required, and if we missed out, it will throw an error. So that is what this field, right? This field is where we have instructed it. It has been instructed in field status variant. So we can say that field status variant control the field, this field at the time of what? At the time of transaction posting, right? We are posting the transaction currently. Likewise, if the client demand that the electricity bill, or whenever we post any transaction against a GL 4001, the text field needs to be suppressed. Then again, this instructions where we have to enter, we will enter it in the field status variant. In the text field, we will select it as a suppressed. Now, how I am very sure that you people might not be understanding what I am talking about, but in real time, when we will start actually, doing it practically, you will get to know how it works. Okay. Now, in the third insurance, again, if we want optional, we will select the optional field. Suppressed is what? Suppressed means, see, suppressed means we can't write anything on it. Either we can't write, either the field should be hide. इधर ये क्या होता, ये completely ये blank हो जाता, मतलब ये hide ही हो जाता. लेकिन ये इस situation में hide हम नहीं कर सकते हैं. Why? Say for example, if we are choosing this, I think it will be better if I will explain this concept of filled later on. As of now, you just understand that if I do suppressed here, the field will be in the display mode. Display means ये आप देख रहे हो, टोटल डेबिट टोटल क्रेडिट, ये क्या है? ये डिस्प्ले मोड में, मतलब हम इसमें देख सकते, बट वी कांट एडिट इट, राइट? वी कांट राइट एनीथिंग ऑन इट. So what I meant to say that if we choose suppressed in field status variant, and if we make any posting in FP50, then the text will be in the display mode. And right Likewise, if we select optional, that means it's all on us whether we want to, whether the employee wants to enter something or they do not want to enter something. The end user, they want to enter something or they do not want to enter something. It's all their choice. Okay? Even if they enter, the system will accept it. Even if they don't enter anything in the text field, the system will accept it, unlike the required command. In required command, you have to write something. If we have selected required, then you have to write something, or else it will not accept it, right? So all this field or command, wherever, whatever we can choose, whether we want required, optional, or suppressed, it is done where it is done in field status variant, right? Now, say if there is a demand of a client, like there could be a different demand for different GL, right? Say, oh, I'm just copy it and then paste it. Now there is another situation. Say for example, if since there is a different GL, different requirement. For one GL, it is required. For another GL, is it suppressed. For another one, it is optional. So, as I told you, whenever we post a transaction, the transaction is posted against a GL, right? But whether the text is suppressed, whether the text is optional, or whether it is required, where we give this instruction, we give a field status variant. But how this work, how the field status variant will work, the field status variant get this instruction from where? They get this instruction from field status group. There is another concept of field status group. Say I will write here field status group. Okay? Here will be field status group. Field status group. And see, there are different field status group. The standard group, there are many standard groups given by SAP. We can create by our own, and even we can use the SAP standard field status group. So it starts with as like Z001, G002, Z003. Okay? It is standard one. So what happened? So it won't be wrong if I say that whenever a transaction is posted against a different GL, right? It could be 4,000, it could be 4,000, 4,001, 4,002, depend, and many other GLs will be there, which I will, which we will create in the coming classes. And there can be different requirement of the client. In one GL, they can want the text field to be, I'm just taking the example of text. There could be any field, assignment field, text, this text code, any field. I'm taking the example of text field. So if they want in one GL the text to be required, or another GL text to be suppressed, another GL text to be optional. So all this GL, what happens now? It is different GL in real time is assigned against different field status group. Fine. There will be different field status group G001, 2, 3. There are many other standard given by SAP, or we can create by our own. And this different field status group is assigned against the field status variant. What variant? Which I was talking about you. This field status variant. So mainly the field status variant get the instruction from whom? It get the instruction from field status group. That in field status group, what we have instructed in the field status group, what is first, what happened whenever we post a transaction, what SAP will check. SAP will check for which company code it is. Fine. After knowing the company code, SAP will check that what is the GL, against what GL we are creating it. Against that GL, suppose if it's 4,000, then against 4,000, what is the field status group I have assigned? Against the field status group G001, I have given the instruction whether the text field has to be required, suppressed, or optional. There will be a radio button kind of thing, as you can see it here. Right here, the text field. So here I will give the instruction. So from here, the SAP will fetch the instruction. Okay, I am told that the text field to be required. So when I will post the transaction, actually in this FB50, it will assure that I should write something in the text. This will only be more clear once you will start doing posting the transaction practically. But as of now, just keep this in mind that transaction is always posted against a GL. There could be different requirement of different GL. I have taken the example of text. It could be required, it could be suppressed, it could be optional. So for rent, if it's required, for electricity bill, if it is suppressed, for insurance, if it is optional. So what is the way? So this GL, we have to assign it to different field status group. There are various standard field status group given by the SCP. We can even assign it or we can create our own, right? So suppose I have assigned the standard field status group as G001, 2, 3 against this different GL. Now, this different field status group is assigned against a field status variant, and this field status variant is assigned against a company code. There is an internet issue, guys. Fine. OBC4. Fine. So see, this is the first we will create field status variant. So I always prefer that SAP has given a field status variant as standard field status variant 0001. I guess field status. I always copy this. So you, while practicing, also copy this standard setting. So we have to copy, right? And just write. I always prefer to use the same code, whether it be company code the same, posting period variant, field status variant, fiscal year variant. It's not like that you can't prepare your own, but it is very difficult to remember that if you will keep on creating different variants. So I always prefer to create by the same name, and it will be G Entertainment field status variant. Press enter. Once you press enter, do not do this. Only copy entry. Do not do this. If you will do this, only this will be copied. But what as I told you, under field status variant, there is various field status group. I have explained you before that. The different GL assigned to different field status group, different field status groups assigned to single field status variant. So that means now I am creating field status variant under which there will be various field status groups. So copy all. I have to copy all. Give it some time. See, number of dependent entry 41. Press enter. Now, if you click here and just check the field status group, see, as I've explained you, these all are standard given by SAP. Few are even standard, like for bank account, we will use Z005. For material, we will use Z006. Similarly, for asset, we will use Z008, and many others are there. So we can even create by our own, or you can even because I deleted because that was not the standard setting. Somebody has created by their own, but this all are standard. Now you can see under one field status variant, there are so many field status group here G001, G002. So press Control F and enter. So for me, the field status group has been created. Now, as I was taking this example, right? Now, what happened once we create this GL now? So this GL has to be assigned to different field status group. Now, if you see, if I take the example of G001, see, here if I do the double click and general data, can you see? It's the same page which I was explaining you here. Suppress required optional, right? Here also you will find the same thing. Suppress required optional. And here is a text field. So what will happen? Now, if I take the example of this, okay? So for red, I have given G001 and text field has required entry. So what I will do here, I will make the setting. Here I will do the text field as required entry. Got it? I will press enter. I will save it. Now again, for this, like there is either I can create G002 as I don't see any standard setting of G002, or let me take the standard one. I will take G003 or G004. Okay? Now for electricity bill, what I will do, I know that the field status group I have given is G003. So here in G003, what I will do, I will go to general data, and here in the text field, I will do the suppressed and I will press enter. Likewise for insurance, it is G004. I will come to Z004. I will go to general data and I will go to text and I will make it optional. Right? And then after making the settings in this, SAP will get the instruction and then SAP will work it accordingly. Okay? So this will be more clear once I'm telling you, once we will start with our practicals. Well, we start actually posting the transaction. As of now, let me make it optional because by default it remains as optional. So this is what I was talking about, that different GL will be assigned against different field status group. So this all are the field status group, right? There will be various GL will be assigned against various field status group. All the settings will be done in the field status group as required, suppressed and optional. And this field status group is assigned against what? This is all assigned against what? Field status variant. You can see here, there is one variant against this. There are so many of field status group. So we have created it. Again, the next thing is what? We have created. But how the SAP will know that it belongs to Z Entertainment? We have to assign it. For assignment, it is OBC5. So we will again come to slash and OBC5. Press enter. Now select your company code ZD89. And here you can write your own, which is same ZD89 Control S. Press enter. Fine. So this is how we created field status variant. So yes, so what are the few things which you have to remember? See, I am explaining you the same thing again and again. It can be quite boring for few people, but trust me, this will help you in future. And I believe that with one explanation, nobody can understand. If I keep on repeating the same text again and again, somewhere or another way, it will be, freezed into your mind. And in later classes, when you keep practicing, you will remember each and because this everything is very important. So what I was talking about that what is the logic if somebody comes to ask you about this concept, like what is the logic of creating field status group? So what we can say that the reason behind is or why there is so many field status group, then you have to explain in this way that the reason behind creating field status group is that for different GL there can be a different requirement. Say for example, if for the rent GL the text will be need required, for electricity bill the text will be need suppressed, and for insurance the text will be want as optional, then this different GL has to be assigned against a different field status group. So in the field status group there is a setting which are three radio button. One is required, another is suppressed, and another one is optional. So we have to select accordingly. And once we select it, SAP get the instruction. And once we post any transaction against any GL, SAP check out that this the GL against that GL, what is the field status group? Against that field status group, what is the setting being done? And according to that, the transaction is being posted. Fine. And how the field is being control how all this field is being controlled. So this entire field is controlled by actually it is controlled by field status group, right? Because we make all the setting here. So actually it is controlled by field status group, and this field status group, different field status groups, this all comes under a single field status variant. So actually with the help of the field status variant with certain conditions which we imply or which we make in field status group, the fields are getting controlled. Fine. Mainly all this line item. See, this is the page, right, of posting the transaction. So this is what this is header, and this is what this is line item. So whatever the field which comes under line item now, it all is controlled by what? Field status variant. So I have explained you about the field status variant, and even I have assigned it. In the next class we will see another few of the basic settings. So this is all about today's class. Have a good day. Thank you.